Welcome and namaste. My name is Omkar. As you know, we will go further. We will start talking more about happiness on this video. But I just wanted to welcome you all for our second video in this series. If you want to know something, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment in the comment section and I will reach back to you. Okay, so let's start. Last week we touched base on what exactly happiness is, right? We touched base on happiness as something that is internal right here. It's a feeling of free-flowing energy. We are not necessarily talking about outside world, we are talking about internal state and how we can achieve it. We did that to establish the fact that we own our own happiness and how we can actually direct our life towards happiness and make it a choice rather than being dependent on outside circumstances. Listen, outside circumstances are not in our control. We can only focus in our life on what's in our control. That's the only thing we have. That's the only thing we can do. But like I said in last week's video, it's my guarantee that as we start going towards happiness and we start becoming happy, your life is definitely going to get into a better place. You are going to start seeing your life reflecting that happiness. Things that make you happy are going to start happening. So please stay with it and make sure if you have any questions, you ask them. With that being said, let's start with this video. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at happiness on a spiritual basis, right? What is happiness? Does it have any bigger meaning in our life? And from there onwards, we are going to go into a very useful and beautiful analogy that I always use with my friends and people who ask me about happiness. And then we are going to deep dive into one of the procedures or the first step for happiness. Okay, we're going to touch base on that. So this video is going to be really informative and will set a tone for our happiness project, right? So happiness, like in last video we mentioned, it's something internal, it's a free-flowing energy. But on a bigger scheme of events, okay, when you talk about spiritual scheme of events, doesn't matter whether you're religious, you're atheist, you are a scientist, you just follow science, you don't believe in God, you just follow energies, doesn't matter. On a spiritual level, on a level of energies, happiness is what you are, okay? Happiness is not something that you have to create. Happiness is what you are. Because of this world, because of these pressures, because of these judgments, what has happened is you have covered your internal being of happiness. So I always give an example. Imagine you are in a dark room. The room is pitch dark. There is a bright light in that room, okay? If you turn it on, the whole room will brighten up that you have never seen before, okay? Things will go great. But for some reason, that light has been covered with blankets. Blankets of sadness, blankets of stress, blankets of jealousy. You have all these blankets on top of it, okay? Now the room is dark. You want to brighten it up. So what you keep on doing is you keep on going outside and bringing more lights. But then those lights come with their own blankets. And you try to flip the switch on and the room never brightens up. Okay. So instead of going out and keep on bringing the lights, what you can easily do is remove those blankets one by one. Okay, the blankets that you have put in, the things that make you sad, right now, jealousy might be there, comparison might be there, judgments might be there, a lot that we will discuss further. But those are the blankets that are covering the bright light. And as soon as you start removing those blankets one by one, what starts happening is the room starts brightening up. And then you don't need anything from outside. Now the room is all brightened up. And guess what? When the world around you is dark, and your room is brightened up, everything wants to come to your room now because everybody wants to come to you. They are like, what's going on in that room? Why is that room bright and everything else is dark? Same thing is with happiness. Okay, you have a happiness, your internal being is happy, is the free flowing energy, is the energy of the universe flowing through you, through the ground, through the skies. Okay, and what has happened is that whole internal being has been shut down, right? We have put a lot of blankets on top of it. Blankets such as judgments, jealousy, comparison, stress. What will people say? Some things that make me sad. Whatever it might be. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be what I mentioned right now. It might have a reason, it might not have a reason. But we have put those blankets on that light. And that's why we don't feel happy. Right? So just like there is a bright light in the room that is covered with blanket that makes the whole room dark, we ourselves have put a lot of different emotions on top of our happiness that doesn't make us happy. Are you getting the point? Yes, that's exactly the point, right? So instead of going out and getting new lights, you don't need that. You don't need outside world to give you happiness. All you have to do is remove those blankets one by one. That's where the work is. That's what this course is going to teach you about. It's not necessarily getting happiness from outside. I cannot do that. No one else can do that. If somebody is guaranteeing you that, call the BS card on them. Okay? You are all happy. You are happy beings. It's in here. It's not somewhere out there. Okay? The only thing that we need to keep consciously working on is removing those blankets out. And that's why people say that happiness is a choice. Okay? The more blankets you remove, the more happy you're going to feel. The more happy you're going to feel, the more your reality is going to reflect that happiness. In terms of things happening your way, you're getting things you want. But for that to happen, you need to start pulling out those blankets first. Okay. With that being said, this is where our foundation is for happiness. So let's venture into our first step. The first step I always tell people whenever it comes to happiness is stop being sad. And people look at me like, you are crazy, man. Like, how can we stop being sad? If we are happy, we can stop being sad. But that's the fallacy of the whole argument. You cannot stop being sad by becoming happy. You have to stop being sad and happiness just comes up, right? Stop being sad is one of those blankets. Sadness is one of those blankets. So I'm asking you to pull that blanket out, okay? And how do you do that? A lot of people ask me like, it's easy to say than done, and I agree with that. And that's why there are not a lot of happy people out there, because it's easier said than done. But these are the easy steps that I want to lay out in front of you, right? The first easy step is stop being sad. What that means is try to introspect yourself and see what are the things that make you sad. Okay? And are you doing those? And if you are doing those, stop doing those. I'll give you my example. One of my examples, in 2008, I was laid off. There was an economic downturn. I was laid off. I used to go to this one nice restaurant where I used to work. And I used to like the food over there. Okay. So when I got laid off, one day I went there, and while I was eating, I felt sad. I was like, man, I used to come here every time. I know these waiters, I know these waitresses, I know everyone. I like the food. But I'm so sad just coming here. You know what I did? I just stopped going there. That's one thing that I did to not being sad, was I just stopped being there. And if you look at your life and if you introspect, you will start seeing that there are these trivial things that you are doing or everyone around you is doing, okay, that are making them sad, but they keep on doing it, right? A lot of breakups, people start listening to sad songs. For what? You're killing yourself. You're troubling yourself. Stop doing that. They keep on going to those restaurants where they used to go when they were in madly love with that person. Stop doing that. Don't do that. Okay? Wherever you can control and wherever you can take that away, please, please, please stop being sad. Stop doing things that make you sad. Does that mean that you just live the whole life and run away like, hey, I feel sad taking care of my kids, so I'm just going to leave them? Or I feel sad going to work, so I'm not just going to go to work. No, that does not mean that. Does that mean that it will result in that? Probably yes, but that's not the first thing that you should do. The first thing you should do is, why do I feel sad going to that work? Okay, what are the thoughts that make me feel sad about going to that work? Look at those things and try to control those things. Try to control that. Like, it might be going to the work and talking to a particular person. If it's not your boss and if you can control not talking to them, don't talk to them. Okay? If it's not controllable and the way they come at you sometimes make you sad, tell yourself, like, their opinion is not important to me now. Okay? From today onwards, whatever they say, I'm not going to let it reflect me. And stop being sad. All right? Taking care of your kids make you sad? I hope it doesn't, because I love my kids and I really enjoy my time with them. But ask a question, why is it making me sad? Is it the responsibility part of it that I don't like? If that's the case, you can always work on it. Okay? It might be anything. Okay? These were the examples. Don't take me wrong. I'm not saying that kids make people sad or anything like that. But these are the examples I'm trying to put in front of you. Is like, a lot of times people feel sad because of certain things, and they just keep on doing it day in, day out, and then they cry why they are not happy. And that's something where we as an adults, or we as humans, controlling our own happiness, need to be vigilant about and cautious about. Is like, what are these things, and eliminate those things. Stop being sad for 21 days. 21 days is what it takes. 21 days is what it takes to be for a new habit to form. Stop being sad. Don't do whatever is making you sad, and see how it changes. See how it helps you. I am 100% sure that at the end of the 21st day, if you stop doing all these things, you are naturally going to start feeling a little bit more happier. That's because that's what you are. You are removing one blanket. Remember, you're always removing that blanket, one blanket at a time. The more blankets you remove, the more your energy level is going to be high, the more your vibration is going to be high, and the more happy you're going to feel, and the more happiness is going to get reflected. Okay. So for this week, what I want you to do, all of you that are watching this video, is go back while you're taking a shower, while you're sleeping, while you're taking a walk, while you're working out. Try to figure out, what are those certain things that I do that make me sad, and out of those, which ones can I eliminate? And try to eliminate those, and you will see the difference. You'll see the difference in a week. You don't even have to wait for 21 days. Okay. So please do that. If you have any comments, if you have any observations, if you have any other topic you want to know on something, please let me know, and I will have a video on it, or I will reply to you. The other thing is about the next video, we are going to go a little bit deeper into some of the tips that will help you for not being sad. Okay, we are going to go into that direction. So have a good day. Try not to be sad, and try to remove at least one blanket today over that bright light that's called happiness. Goodbye and namaste.